Right now, hail, high winds, and heavy rain. Warmer temperatures are back in town, but the chance for spring storms are too. Chris is tracking your alert day forecast. A waste warning for people in the Madison area. If you're hoping to get yard work done in between rain showers, what the city is saying about curbside pickup, or rather the lack of it. And bucking the competition, the Deer secure another win over the Raptors in Milwaukee overnight. We have the highlights as the team now heads to Toronto.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now This Morning.
Good morning, and thank you for choosing to start your day with us here on News 3 Now This Morning, Saturday. It is May 18th. I'm Christina Laurie with meteorologist Chris Reese. And Chris, 40 million people under a threat of severe weather across the Midwest.
Yeah, that's right. There's a big system that's been slowly impacting our weather since Thursday, and it's going to take until tomorrow to finally move out. But a lot of folks under the gun for the potential of severe weather. And in Madison, we are on the lower end of that. I am tracking some showers right now that are trying to move in from the south and west. This is all a part of some storms that have sparked up over parts of Iowa. That will be moving into the western tier of the area soon. Again, here's that severe weather outlook. Notice that dark shading that you see across most of the state. This is a marginal risk, folks, so it's not necessarily the greatest threat for severe weather, but nonetheless, there are some low-end possibilities of some hail and high winds as these storms come through later on this afternoon and evening. We also do have to watch the flood potential going through the weekend because today is not the only day. We're going to be looking at severe weather possibilities into your Sunday as well. And again, the tornado threat fairly low with this, but it's hail up to about an inch or quarter sized, and then the damaging wind potential that we are keeping a very close eye on. By Monday, though, things do begin to clear out, so that's certainly the good news. But in the meantime, today we're watching these showers and thunderstorms as they begin to develop. Expect more of those. In the meantime, temperatures are in the 40s, but we do warm up throughout the day as well. Winds starting to begin their transition to coming out of the south, Christina. That's when we'll have a chance to see temperatures in the 70s later on.
Another chilly, cool, potentially rainy day for folks out at the farmers market. We can't seem to get to break.
Hopefully it gets better. Saturday is just one of those days. I think Mother Nature takes a weekend or something and the weather just goes crazy. But I think we could get a nice weekend on the horizon. We'll have to fine tune the details.
Okay, though. Fingers crossed for a good Memorial Day weekend. We'll check back in with you later.
We'll talk about it.
Thanks, Chris. Well, just into the Channel 3000 Alert Center this morning, Fitchburg police are investigating a report of shots fired in the area of Leopold Way and Longford Terrace. Officers say they were called to that area just after midnight and didn't find any people there, but they did find a number of shell casings, so anyone with information is asked to call Fitchburg police. And in Oregon, no one was injured in a fire at Ace's main tap overnight. Firefighters told News 3 Now someone threw a cigarette in a crack up against the building, which sparked the fire around 8 o'clock Friday. The tap was built on Main Street back in the 20s or 30s. Everyone there was evacuated, including the people living inside apartments on the building's second floor. Now, the Red Cross is looking for more donors this weekend as a critical shortage of a crucial type of blood continues. Right now, there's less than a 2-day supply of type O blood for emergency rooms. That means treatments and patient care could be affected. Type O donations are especially important because they're considered universal donors, meaning they can be used in transfusions for people of any blood type. The Red Cross is asking any eligible type O donors to make an appointment to donate as soon as they can. And here's a little extra incentive. The Red Cross will hand out $5 Amazon gift cards to people who donate by June 10th. La Hacienda in Madison is officially back open this weekend after being closed for several days last weekend due to a norovirus outbreak. Public Health Madison says the outbreak caused 25 people to get sick after eating at the restaurant on Park Street. Norovirus can be introduced by a variety of things, a sick employee or even a sick customer, and it spreads quickly. Right now, health officials can't determine the exact root of the virus, but this was not the restaurant's first health code violation. As recently as 2017, they violated health codes related to improper cooling. The owner was not able to comment on this situation, but we did speak to the vice president of the Wisconsin Restaurant Association, who calls this a learning opportunity.
They have some really good training of everybody that works in the restaurant, so they understand their responsibility not to come to work ill or proper cleaning and sanitizing when they're there.
Officials say those health standards apply to customers as well. More local news now. We finally have an answer to what's been hiding under those blue tarps you may have seen on Library Mall. Some new artwork. The finishing touches were put on a new sculpture this week. The title of the project is Both and Tolerance Innovation. The stone and stainless steel sculpture was designed by UW alumnus David Dahlquist as well as Matt Niebuhr to represent the confluence of ideas and cultural diversity in that location, just steps from the Memorial Union.
It's about the convergence of ideas between the three churches that there are right in that area with the university and the tolerance for the difference of those ideas.
The sculpture will officially be dedicated 2 weeks from today. In support of the Bucks playoff run, the city of Milwaukee unveiled its newest public art project, a Bucks-themed mural. It's in the city's Walker's Point neighborhood. The 2,000 square foot Fear the Deer mural took 80 hours to complete. It was designed by a local artist who says it's an interpretation of the team's brand as well as the state of Wisconsin. And Bucks fans have plenty to celebrate after another win at the Pfizer Forum overnight. Our Melissa Kim was there for the big game and shares the highlights this morning.
Well, this game 2 of the Eastern Conference Final, certainly a different game than the first game of this series between the Raptors and Bucks. And it all started from the beginning. Giannis setting the tone with a dunk and a block. But basketball is a team sport. You need everyone to contribute. And the Bucks certainly did that last night. Ersan Ilyasova, the Turkish Thunder, with quite the game off the bench. He really owned the first half. He was the only player in double digits at one point. Played hard on defense, too. 17 points for him last night. He was second in points on the team behind Giannis. And Malcolm Brogdon just keeps getting better and better with every game that he comes back. This was his third game back, 14 points in 25 minutes for him last night. And the bench as a whole, they're now calling them the bench mob, the Bucks bench mob. They had 54 of the Bucks' 125 points last night. And head coach Mike Budenholzer says this team just keeps on getting better.
Big moment for Ersan to step up. He's such a pro, you know. We've been together for a few years now. It's just, you know, I have so much confidence and faith and trust in him. And, you know, he has tough shots and everything he does defensively, just, and the whole bench.
Well, the thing is that's the beauty about our team. You know, everybody, when you look at our bench, you know, we have a deep bench and the whole season long, and we rely on each other. Obviously, you know, in this game, we kind of learn a lesson from game 1, and you know, everybody just from the gates, we was ready.
And the crowd definitely a factor again last night. This place was absolutely rocking. Now the Bucks have only lost one game in the playoffs so far. That was game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals against the Celtics. The series now shifts to Toronto for games 3 and 4. At Pfizer Forum, Melissa Kim, News 3 Now this morning.
Thanks for that, Melissa. And you can watch Game 3 tomorrow night at 6 over on TNT. Then be sure to catch the highlights right here on News 3 Now at 10. Forward Madison FC is back on their home turf tonight. But if you have a ticket to the game and can't make it out to Breese-Stevens Field, the team has a new partnership called the Pay It Forward program. It gives fans the opportunity to donate their unused tickets to the team's nonprofit, Flock Soccer Foundation. That group gives underserved communities the chance to experience a pro soccer game right in their hometown. Well, the time now is 8:07. We're nearing the end of a National Law Enforcement Week designed to honor and celebrate officers around our state and across the country, too. A total of 158 officers died in the line of duty last year in America, according to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund. The tally is at 42 this year. The week helps raise awareness about the issues officers face. Madison police officer Scott Favor says the job is dangerous, but that's why officers train the way they do.
We're well trained. We have great in-service training. We also constantly train physically and mentally. We do a lot of mental rehearsal of calls so that when we go on a dangerous call, hopefully we've already thought our way through in our heads how we might handle that call beforehand, so that we're not caught by surprise, and we'll rely on.
Favor says one of the biggest challenges facing departments is recruiting new members. Looking ahead, construction on a new nursing facility at a veterans home in Waupaca County is now underway. Governor Tony Evers joined VA officials this week to get the $80 million project started. The new building is named after John R. Moses, a World War II veteran and Purple Heart recipient who served as Secretary of the VA for 23 years. The project will include almost 200 new beds, a memory care unit, and views of Rainbow Lake. Construction is expected to take about 2 years. If you're planning on heading to Woodman's this morning for your weekend grocery shopping, you'll have a chance to be part of a celebration a century in the making. The Janesville-based company marked 100 years of service this week, and the party's not stopping anytime soon. After several events this week at their East and West Madison locations, Woodman's will offer several more free food and drink events in its parking lots throughout the summer months. The company was first established on Milton Avenue in Janesville back in 1919. And ever since then, they've opened more than 15 other stores across Wisconsin and Illinois. The East Side store manager says one thing's remained the same all these years. The business is committed to this community.
Sort of like a lot of family here because a lot of people come here. Some people shop here 3-4 days a week. I mean, we know, and my employees know everybody.
The next centennial celebration in our neck of the woods is on July 19th in Sun Prairie. Free food and drinks will be served from 4 until 7 o'clock that night. As lawn and garden season ramps up, there's a new service expanding to Madison to help take that yard work off your hands. It's being called the Uber of Lawn Care. At the push of a button, Lawn Love connects local lawn care teams with you at home. Organizers say it's an easy way to free up some time on your already busy schedule. They can do a little or a lot, from mowing and trimming to weeding and seeding. All you have to do is go online to lawnlove.com and type in your address to get started. If you're doing your own yard work this weekend and live in Madison, don't expect any yard waste set out on the curb to be picked up, though. The city is done collecting yard waste for this season. That means they won't be back until the fall. An exact date will be announced when we get closer to that season. But if you still have stuff you need to get rid of, you can take it to one of the city's drop-off sites. Those are on West Badger Road, Sycamore Avenue, and South Point Road. They're open from 8:30 until 4:30, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and weekends, and from 8:30 until 8 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Calling all mushroom lovers, Muscadet is hosting its annual Morel Mushroom Festival this weekend. The fun kicked off in the town about 60 miles west of Madison yesterday with ball tournaments, live music, and of course, food stands serving up variations of everyone's favorite mushroom. Fireworks are scheduled for tonight, and there's a parade tomorrow. You can find more information up on our website, channel3000.com. Also on our website, you can find our colleague Charlotte DeLeste's latest Do Something Good story about Wollersheim Winery and Distillery in Prairie du Sac. Or better yet, head there in person this weekend. That's where you can try a new one-of-a-kind whiskey. The special spirit is brewed with 3 different types of colored corn and a recipe like no other.
We decided to blend those 3 colors, matching the percentage of the American flag. The American flag for us is something grand. We have a lot of respect for the flag.
After 3 years of barrel aging, the limited edition whiskey is now ready to be sold, but Wollersheim isn't keeping a penny of the sales. You can find out where that money is going to, again, on our website. Well, the time now is just about 8:13, and our severe weather threat continues all weekend long with chances for hail, high winds, and heavy rain. It's not good news for the farmers market goers and vendors out there. You're taking a live look over the Capitol. Your full first alert forecast just ahead on News 3 Now this morning, Saturday.
It's another active weather weekend across south central Wisconsin, and if you are paying attention to the weather, all eyes are on the western sky. Right now, already, we are starting to see that fog roll in. This is a live look from our WISC-TV camera. The fog rolling in is a sign of a warm front on the way. So yes, things are cloudy out there right now. They're cool out there right now. Warmer temperatures are coming, as are chances for more rain. Right now we do sit at 47. Winds still coming out of the east at 10 miles per hour. But notice the 50s starting to show up just towards the south and west. That's where our camera was looking, showing that warmer air starting to nose on in here. At the same time, we're tracking some showers and thunderstorms that are moving in as well. These same showers and thunderstorms now starting to approach the Mississippi River all have developed over the past couple of hours over eastern Iowa. And there's some strong storms. There's the possibility of some hail within these. All of those little diamonds that you see that are blue are areas where it's pointing out the potential for some hail inside of these showers and thunderstorms. And again, those have been increasing in coverage as we've gone through the last 3 hours. So that's what we are watching so far. And they're moving into an environment that is, yes, conducive for severe weather, but less conducive as you move into southern Wisconsin per se. So we're going to see how that transpires as we go through the next couple of hours. But there are a lot of folks with that threat for severe weather. This goes all the way from Minnesota down towards the Gulf Coast, and you're going to be hearing about severe weather threats for the next several days across much of the country. But what's impacting us right now is the warm front moving through and then the associated region of low pressure. Here's how things will play out. That line of storms to the west right now, that will get closer, but there are signs that it will begin to die out as it does so. Now, once storms die off, they actually leave boundaries for new storms to develop. So watch how that happens. The new storms develop by this afternoon. Check out the temperatures, by the way, in the low 70s. Those die off, and then more storms begin to develop. This is going to be our wettest period this evening, overnight, and then into the day on Sunday. We could see even more showers and thunderstorms into the day on Sunday. Each round bringing the potential for some heavy rainfall. So we do have a slight risk for excessive rainfall today, and then a marginal risk for excessive rainfall tomorrow as that begins to move northward towards northern Wisconsin. And then these storms also could bring a quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. So those are all the things that we're going to be looking for as these storms come through. Of course, you know the timing at this point, but the weather overall going to be very busy before we get a little bit of a break on Monday. Things do look better for us then. It'll be a little bit colder, but then another round of showers and storms arrives Tuesday into Wednesday. Then another break for the week ahead. Check out next weekend. While, yes, we do have a slight chance of rain on Memorial Day Saturday, things are looking great for Saturday afternoon and next Sunday with sunshine and temperatures in the low 70s.
Let's hope for some good weather Friday night. That's when Smash Mouth's going to be at Bratfest Memorial Day weekend.
Friday night, we'll keep our fingers crossed. There's a small chance for showers and thunderstorms right now, but I will tell you it's not all that great at the moment. So we're in the same ballpark, Christina.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on that. Thank you, Chris.
My pleasure.
Well, the time now is almost 8:20. Sometimes the news is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get unless we tell you that a story about Forrest Gump is coming up as the classic film celebrates a major milestone. Plus, it's a great weekend to spend inside. Our film critic Will Loper shares several shows and movies you should check out in his 3 Things to Watch. Entertainment news just ahead on News 3 Now this morning, Saturday. Welcome back. Tomorrow's the night, Game of Thrones fans. After 8 years of winter, the season finale airs at 8 o'clock on HBO. Meantime, people here in Wisconsin are still talking about last week's episode, which featured a green and gold cameo. If you blinked, you might have missed this, but Aaron Rodgers posted this photo to his Instagram account as proof he really was on the show's second to last episode. Former Badger and current NFL star J.J. Watt is getting some screen time of his own, announcing this week he's developing a new TV series with his brothers. On Twitter, he said Ultimate Tag takes a childhood game to extreme levels with insane obstacles and incredible athletes. The show is expected to launch early next year. 2019 marks 25 years of Forrest, Jen-A, and Lieutenant Dan. Yes, we're talking about the Tom Hanks classic Forrest Gump. Paramount is celebrating by issuing a remastered 2-disc Blu-ray with added features. There's also a free screening on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. next weekend for Memorial Day. And Forrest Gump will return to 600 theaters for special screenings in June. And David Letterman is returning to Netflix for a second season. Starting May 31st, you can catch all 6 episodes of his show, My Next Guest Needs No Introduction with David Letterman. The former late-night host kicked off last season with a sit-down interview with President Barack Obama. Guests for season 2 are still a secret and will be announced later this month. But you don't have to wait until then to watch something good. Here's our film critic, Will Loper, with his picks and 3 things to watch.
Doc, you can ground me if I'm crazy, right?
Oh, sure, I have to. I have to ground anyone who's crazy.
Then ground me, I'm crazy.
You're not crazy.
Why not?
Catch-22. As soon as you ask to get out of combat duty, you're no longer crazy, and so you have to fly more missions.
That's some catch, that Catch-22.
It's the best there is.
Newly streaming on Hulu this week is the series Catch-22.
Read me back the last line.
Read me back the last line.
Not my last line, somebody else's.
Read me back the last line.
That's my last line again.
Oh, no, sir, that's my last line. I read it to you just a moment ago.
Based on the famous satirical book, the dark comedy stars Kyle Chandler, George Clooney, and more as soldiers in a war nobody can seem to escape.
Well, that was the agreement we had. 500 goats.
War is not about profits, son.
Absolutely, sir, not only.
I've flown more missions than anybody on this base, and every time I get closer, they raise it on me.
Catch-22 is streaming now on Hulu.
I can't do this anymore.
You think this is a big fat joke?
Holy moly.
What is the meaning of life? Are we here for a reason? Is there a point to any of this? And why does food taste so much better in the trash?
This weekend, A Dog's Journey comes out in theaters, but why not double up on the tears and watch 2017's A Dog's Purpose?
This was me, and then this was me. Then I came back as this little guy.
Josh Gad voices a dog who keeps reincarnating to help people in a way only a dog can.
With each new life, I was learning a new lesson.
A Dog's Purpose is available to rent or buy everywhere now.
If I can get you licking and loving, I have my purpose.
Wait, I know you. You're from that weird family, aren't you?
We're not weird.
We don't like wrestling.
How do you know if you've never been?
Finally, newly arrived on home video this week is Fighting with My Family.
If I call your name, that means you'll be coming with me to Florida. Paige. Thank you all very much.
The film is based on the true story about 2 siblings who try out for the WWE, but only the sister makes the cut.
You have to take my brother. No one deserves this more than Zach.
I wish you the best, son, but this is the end of the line for you.
Do you know what it's like to want one thing in life, and then your own sister takes it away from you?
It was my dream, too.
Fighting with My Family is available to rent or buy everywhere now.
You're not just doing this for you. You're doing it for the family.
Happy watching. Those are the 3 things you need to watch. And this is Will Loper for News 3 Now this morning.
Well, there's much more ahead on the program. Next, we're running through the morning's top stories, including the latest on a fire at a historic building in Oregon overnight. Plus, why more parents are encouraging kids to consult with college coaches, how these men and women can help send more low-income students to 4-year schools. We'll be right back. Right now, checking in by posting up how teachers are making sure their students are doing well this Mental Health Awareness Month.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now This Morning.
Good morning. It's May 18th. I'm Christina Laurie. We'll get a check of your first alert forecast with Chris in just a second. But first, let's get you caught up on what's making news this morning. Firefighters in Oregon say no one was injured in a fire at Ace's main tap overnight. Firefighters told News 3 Now someone threw a cigarette in a crack up against the building, which sparked that fire around 8 o'clock Friday. The tap was built on Main Street back in the 1920s or 30s. Everyone there was evacuated, including the people living inside apartments on the building's second floor. The Red Cross is looking for more donors this weekend as a shortage of a crucial type of blood continues. Right now, there's less than a 2-day supply of type O blood for emergency rooms. Type O donations are especially important because they're considered universal donors, meaning they can be used in transfusions for people of any blood type. The Red Cross is now asking any eligible type O donors to make an appointment and donate as soon as they can. Here's a little extra incentive. The Red Cross will hand out $5 Amazon gift cards to people who donate by June 10th. And forward Madison FC is back on their home turf tonight. But if you have a ticket and can't make it to Breeze-Stevens Field, the team has a new partnership called the Pay It Forward program. It gives fans the opportunity to donate their unused tickets to the team's nonprofit, Flock Soccer Foundation. That group gives underserved communities the chance to experience a pro soccer game right in their hometown. Well, market goers will want to keep an eye on the forecast. It's an alert day. Here's meteorologist Chris Reese.
Yeah, that's right. And one of the things that I want to show you guys is the live look from our Edgewater Sky Camera right now. It's a very foggy look, and while you see fog, I actually see the first signs of a warm front starting to move into town. We also see the lines of showers and thunderstorms that are starting to show up just to the west, and all of that's going to start to work its way towards the east. So this is impacting the Mississippi River Valley as we speak. Storms moving through Prairie du Chien, and then as you work your way towards Grant County, Dubuque, you guys are going to begin to get in on the storms not too long from now. As we go through about the next hour or two, we're going to see these storms slowly move towards Dane County if they hold together. But it's a line of thunderstorms that goes all the way down to the south throughout eastern Iowa that is slowly pushing towards the east and the northeast. As it does so, we're going to be watching the severe weather potential going throughout the day. We do have a marginal risk for severe weather throughout the state of Wisconsin. What we're going to be looking for, not so much a tornado threat, but isolated instances of large hail and damaging wind. So of course, stay tuned. We'll keep you guys up to date on the weather throughout the day. Christina.
Thanks, Chris. You no longer have to go rummaging through your car for change in order to park on the street in Madison this weekend. All coin-only parking meters across the city have now been removed and replaced with smart meters that can also accept credit and debit cards. Eventually, you'll also be able to pay by cell phone. The city hopes to have that program up and running at all 650 smart meters by the end of this year. The Wisconsin DOT is announcing it's making changes to traffic signal times following excessive wait times on Verona Road. Drivers in the area dealt with extreme waits at intersections along Verona Road in the middle of that construction there. A DOT official says these changes will make things run a bit smoother now. The entire project isn't over until the fall of 2020. East Side business owners along Winnebago Street want to remind people they are open during construction. The construction there isn't expected to be finished until the end of August. Business owners say it's been a hassle so far, but they are optimistic about how the street will turn out once that work is done. Last July, the Madison Common Council approved a design plan that includes bike parking and travel lanes in both directions. More local news now. We all know that choosing the right college can be an overwhelming process, but now there are people dedicating their lives to helping your kids make a good decision. Educational consultants can help families narrow down their college lists and navigate the application process. They work to make sure students are finding the schools that are the best fit for who they are as individuals. One nonprofit in Milwaukee focuses on helping students from low-income backgrounds, since students from upper-income families graduate at a 10 times higher rate.
Our goal is to work through that degree divide. That's what we call it, the degree divide, the difference between students who are from low-income backgrounds and students who are from upper-income backgrounds.
Officials say the biggest issue is financial. While the cost of college has gone up, family incomes have not, creating a larger need for more aid. College Possible is currently helping 800 high school students and 1,400 college students. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, a time where wellness groups focus on educating the public and pushing for policies that support people living with this often invisible condition. These groups say 1 in 5 people will be affected by mental illness in their lifetimes. This morning, Jamie Yuka shows us how one Northern California teacher is encouraging her students to be more open about their own struggles through a simple exercise.
All right, I'm going to start at the top of page 84. 100 kites.
It's a good place to start in a traditional language arts lesson.
So what happened? We read this part yesterday.
But for Erin Castillo's students, classwork like this quickly turns into a discussion on mental health.
And while you do that, I'm also going to have you do the check-in on the poster for today.
The poster, Castillo's own creation, is a way for students to share their feelings, a visual representation of how her class is doing emotionally.
I already checked in this morning. I actually put my post-it on struggling.
Kids write their name or initials on the back of a post-it note and stick it to the board. Castillo then pulls aside any student who puts their name in one of the bottom categories.
Something that's really huge is the stigma around mental health, of just people not feeling comfortable sharing where they really are. And a lot of my students were like, well, that's just how the world is, and that's heartbreaking to hear.
Was this a driver your entire life that you wanted to do something like this to help kids?
Actually, I went here my freshman year and I witnessed a stabbing. My mom could vouch that I would cry a lot after school, and I just felt like I was kind of invisible to a lot of my teachers. And part of that was I never talked about it because I didn't feel comfortable talking about it because no one encouraged me to talk about it.
Now kids in her class say the check-ins and activities like the sharing circle have helped them open up about everything from battling depression to trouble at home.
When I came here, I wouldn't talk at all.
This class feels like a family because we could be more comfortable towards each other.
Once I, came out from that dark place, and I started to open up more and more, I feel like, my life has been so much better.
Sometimes it's those outside factors.
Castillo says these activities have not only made her class more empathetic and kind.
Do you like that idea?
Yeah. They've also made them better students.
Their grades have gone way up this year. Their self-esteem has gone up. They're believing in themselves.
In analyzing similar social and emotional learning programs involving more than 270,000 kids, researchers found their grades improved by 11%. Now Castillo's message is going viral. After posting the board for her more than 27,000 Instagram followers, dozens of teachers, some as far away as New Zealand, have created their own versions.
Any kids out there, I'm encouraging you to be like me. I'm encouraging you to talk to your teachers.
Castillo hopes these little notes will continue to make a big difference.
Good morning. I think giving up that little bit of time to make sure that we are there to say to our students, I'm here for you, I care about you, how can I help you today? There you go, good. I think this could be a way to change the world, to go in a new direction, and hopefully we get to a place one day where everyone can talk about where they're at.
Earlier this week on News 3 Now this morning, we spoke to a psychiatrist at the UW who told us the only bad way to talk about mental health is to not talk about it at all. She also had several valuable resources for parents unsure of how to approach the topic of mental health with their kids. You can find those on our Time for Kids page over on channel3000.com. Well, the time now is 8:40. If you're looking for something to do this weekend, we've got you covered. From a popular Broadway show featuring the music of one of Disney's most famous composers to a comedy special and a scavenger hunt perfect for the whole family. Your Weekend 608 is next on News 3 Now this morning. It's a jam-packed weekend here in the 608.
And here's a look at what's happening around town.
The Rousers are celebrating their 35th year as a Madison rock band tonight with a show at the Barrymore. The 6-member group with 4 of its original members will be joined by the Fat Function Horns. The entire show will be shot by independent filmmaker Tim Spellman. Another local group, Phil Gnarly and the Tough Guys, quite a name, open for the band. That show starts at 8 o'clock.
All right, classically trained musicians and real-life sisters Monique and Shantae Ross are also in town. They are a part of the group Sista Strings, which blends classical and gospel music. The duo is headlining the annual spring benefit concert at the Waisman Center. Money raised will go towards better understanding developmental disability. That music starts at 6.
A couple of theatrical productions this weekend. The first focuses on living with attention deficit disorder. It's called Shiny Things. The show looks at a woman whose ADD has complicated her life ever since childhood. That is showing at the Bartell Theater tonight at 8 o'clock.
And all weekend long at the Overture, the musical A Bronx Tale is playing. The show, set in the 60s, is about a young boy's grooming to become a mobster. The soundtrack is a mix of Motown, doo-wop, and early rock. And get this, it's written by Alan Menken, who also wrote the tunes for A Little Mermaid and Aladdin. There are 2 shows today and then 2 more tomorrow.
Good, you can definitely catch one of those. And fun for the whole family, the Wisconsin Historical Museum has its Badger Explorations Urban Adventures program. There's a scavenger hunt to find hidden treasures around the Capitol Square, a hands-on group activity, and a craft to take home too. The exploratory event is best for kids between 2nd and 5th grade, although it sounds fun for us too. An adult chaperone is required though for the event, which runs from 10:30 until noon.
And you'll want to pay attention to the weather for that one. And then get ready to laugh. Beth Stelling is headlining at Comedy on State this weekend. You might have seen her on Conan or Jimmy Kimmel Live, or maybe you know she is a writer for HBO's Crashing. Tickets are available for The Late Show tonight at 10:30.
And as always, pick up a copy of this month's Madison magazine for all the best in and around the Madison area. Well, it's just about 8:46, and luckily a lot of these events are indoors this weekend with the possibility for severe storms.
That's right. You're looking live over the Capitol right now. Some fog rolling into town. That's a sign of a warm front. Your forecast is next.
But first, if you have a little kid turning 3 soon, please let us know so we can show their picture on TV.
And in comes the fog to south central Wisconsin this morning. We're watching that fog from the station camera as we speak. This is the leading edge of a warm front working its way on into town. Things getting a little bit hazy on the Edgewater Sky Camera as well. Meanwhile, temperatures, they're getting warmer. We're at 47 right now. As we zoom things out, other folks are starting to move into the 50s as we speak. Janesville, Monroe, and Dubuque all at 52. Mineral Point at 50, Platteville at 51. And this warmer air all starting to move in from the south and west. But we're also watching the arrival of some showers and thunderstorms, especially as you work your way over towards the Mississippi River. Here are those showers and thunderstorms right now. They aren't severe, but they are a little bit on the stronger side. Each of these little diamonds is a place where you could see hail with these showers and thunderstorms. And here's the deal. They're all moving towards the east and northeast. Now, some of the models don't all show this holding together, but I've seen these storms hold together this morning better than any of the models were able to show. So if these do hold together for the next couple of hours, they're going to continue to move towards our direction, perhaps reaching the Madison area right around 10:30 or so. Places like Monroe, it'll also be around 10:30 that these storms begin to arrive. Lone Rock, you could see those storms here in about an hour or so, or a little bit under an hour. So pay attention to the western sky as we continue to track this overall line of thunderstorms that has fired up this morning, and it's been pretty strong as it's done so. That's an impressive line of storms coming through, moving into an atmosphere that is capable of producing some severe storms. This is a severe weather outlook across the upper Midwest. We're at a marginal risk, but that severe weather outlook is greater as you work your way all the way down towards the south. This is all being driven our direction by a warm front pushing towards the north. Here's the region of low pressure, and that is going to mean things remain unsettled going through the rest of the weekend. So here's future tracks showing that line of storms trying to die on out. But then we see more showers and thunderstorms developing overnight and then into the day on Sunday. I don't particularly think this model has the best handle on things simply from what we're seeing. But any of these storms could put down quite a bit of water because they're not moving all that fast. So we do have that slight risk for excessive rainfall throughout the western half of the state today. That slight risk moves towards the north tomorrow, but we're still going to be under that marginal risk of excessive rainfall. And then again, any of these storms do have the potential to produce a little bit of hail and high winds as they come on through. So it's going to be a very busy period. That's why we have the alert days today and into your Sunday. By Monday, everybody breathe. Whew, you made it through the weekend. We'll get a little bit of a break by Monday. Another round of showers and storms comes on Tuesday into Wednesday. Then we breathe on Thursday before another round of showers and storms on Friday. On the bright side, next weekend does look good. Speaking of bright side, Doodle Diderick is just absolutely precious. What a pet. 70 degrees by 3 o'clock this afternoon. We'll see some clouds. I'll tell you what, I could look at that dog all day long, but I'm going to need to watch the radar.
Me too. Do you think it's a girl or a boy?
I have no idea. I'm not sure.
Doodle could be either.
It really could. I don't know. It just looks sweet, whatever it is.
Write in if you're Doodle's owner and tell us.
Yes.
Well, we've been asking you to share your morning with us. Kitty O'Meara posted this on Facebook. All is quiet on the Crawfish River. This could have been your pet walk. 2 ducks seem to be enjoying their swim. Thanks for sharing this with us, Kitty. What does your morning look like? Take a picture, post it up on our Channel 3000 Facebook page or on Twitter. Use the hashtag MyNews3Morning so we can find it, and maybe we'll share yours right here on our morning show. Well, looking ahead, Rolling Stones fans can finally get some satisfaction as the band stops in Chicago next month, the first stop on their No Filter tour. That tour was postponed after lead singer Mick Jagger had heart valve replacement surgery earlier this year. The new concert dates were announced this week, starting with shows at Soldier Field on June 21st and 25th. The group tweeted that 75-year-old Jagger and the rest of the band can't wait to get back out on the road again. We'll stick with News 3 Now all day long, and then tomorrow morning, a warning for parents as water parks across the state are getting ready to open next weekend. How you can keep your kid from drowning. A message from parents who know that loss all too well. But first, introducing the next generation of royalty. Well, kind of. Meet Harry, George, Charlotte, and Archie, although these kids aren't from England. We'll explain right after this. Finally this morning, 4 kids in a New Zealand family are feeling like royalty after quite the coincidence. The Stafford family's gone 4 for 4 in naming their kids after British royalty. They have a Harry, a George, a Charlotte, and now an Archie. But here's the catch. Most of those names, with the exception of Harry, were decided on before they were picked by royalty. The children's mother, Jo Stafford, calls the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's latest choice the icing on the cake. So we're turning to her for advice on what name's next.
We always loved Lucy for a girl, if Archie had been a girl, and we also quite liked Freddie.
Stafford ended by saying her family is stopping at 4 kids, though. Good to know.
That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Otherwise, we maybe know the name of the next royal baby. But in the meantime, we are tracking showers and thunderstorms coming through the area. Christina, here's a line of thunderstorms that has proven to be a little bit stronger than modeled. It's racing towards the Mississippi River as we speak. This will reach Madison by 10:30 if it holds together.
Stay dry, Wisconsin. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning starting at 6:30.